You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
All right. Hey, this is iWalter. Good morning, or actually good afternoon. I got to get ready for work. It's going on 2 o'clock. I got to be at work at 3, and I'm still in my underwear and a T-shirt. So, yeah, not very pleasant look, trust me. Anyway, I'm going to start out by saying, reading, an article a friend had posted in a message. He gets them from his newspaper clip. You know, he takes newspaper clippings every once in a while when people complain about how our government, really sucks. It says, to the person who said about savings bonds, they sold in the war days, that might be a good idea, but Obama would take the money and give it to the loaders on welfare. But then I guess that's part of the national debt. Anyway, I'm starting out with that. I didn't go on last night or early this morning because I was busy all night. I get done in work at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And basically what I was doing was I was downloading for my Surface. I have one Apple product, and it's a Surface. And the whole thing was I was downloading it for Windows 10, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I tell you, I was so fucking depressed last night. It's just like, I hate going to work anymore because everybody is like, gives me an attitude problem. Like, I'm the one, if they could get rid of me, everything would be fine. If they get rid of me, none of the actual cleaning would be done properly. What the fuck is your problem, people? But they act like I'm like this alien from another planet, as I joke with my intro. I don't do the intro. I paid for it, though. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. And I'm sick and tired of it. I mean, going to fucking work, and you have these people that act like you're some type of pervert, pedophiliac, whatever you want to call it. Not a pedophiliac. We don't have children. Oh, actually, let me correct myself. Yeah, we do actually have children there, but they're ages 29 up until their 50s. So, yeah, we do have children, but not of your normal age. Usually children are between the ages of the day they're born until the age of 17. But unfortunately, we have, as my one professor would say, perpetual adolescence. So, yeah, that's what that fucking place is I got to deal with. And you know what? I said to the one woman I like, she's a friend of mine from work, it's like when I was in high school, there was two guys. There was this guy, Jamie Hammond. He had a twin brother who was completely different from him, but they were identical twins. Neither one was that attractive looking. Not that I'm into guys, trust me, I'm not, but they were like scary looking almost. I'm sorry. And there was this guy, Greg Debris. I heard he was adopted. He lived in my neighborhood. He was a friend of mine. I wouldn't say a best friend, but he was definitely a friend of mine. And then he met up with some guy who was like a decent looking guy, but he was kind of like a real trouble fucking maker. And then this guy, the other twin, Jamie, of these two Hammond brothers, was another mistake he made. And between the two of them, this guy, Greg Debris, became a incredibly big fucking asshole. So he spent most of his time like, oh, I want to be on the top, I want to be the popular guy. And he picked fights with people randomly. One guy he picked a fight with was this guy who lived directly across the street from me when we were kids. And this guy was friends with Greg for a while, and he even Greg turned on him. He turned on me first, though. But this one guy that he turned on, he was also friends with my sister-in-law's youngest brother, who was a friend of mine. The guy ended up dying at like a very, very young age. I don't even think he made it out of his teens, and we don't know why. Anyway, different story. Not going to cover it right now. I'm sorry, but yeah, this guy Greg, he picked a fight with this guy across the street from me, and he was a pretty big guy. People picked on him because they were like, I guess. At that time, the mom and dad, they were really nice, but they were pretty much the white trash of our neighborhood. But they were really nice people. We got along with them. They weren't, being assholes about stuff. They were actually pretty down to earth, but they were just not the wealthiest people. So Greg picked a fight with this guy. He was heavy set. But he was also very strong, and this guy Greg Debris picked the fight with him, and guess what happened? The guy just picked him up. I'm surprised he didn't fucking break his back. It's like those videos you see. It was like, you know what? A lot of people were cheering because this guy Greg became a real big fucking asshole. So anyway, where does this fit into work? Well, it fits in perfectly because he did the same thing that everybody at my job in the building, and it's only this building I've ever experienced something on this large of a fucking scale where everybody has turned against me. Everyone. Except like maybe a handful of people who just tolerate me. Like they really just tolerate me. They don't say a fucking word to me. They keep their mouth shut. It's like, they act like I'm some outcast. And it's like a conglomerated joint effort. It just drives me fucking nuts. It's like, why do I even want to live anymore when I work at a job I can't stand? I work with total fucking assholes, and they're all like Greg Debris, though. And what I meant by that was this guy Greg Debris, he became a friend to harassing me, torturing me, teasing me. Oh, what's wrong with the way you walk? You walk like a chicken. Because I was paralyzed from the waist down. I was like 12 years old. I had to learn how to rewalk. I had brain damage from that. But that gave him an open invitation to harass me every fucking day. So it's the same thing at work. And then I got ostracized by, I remember one time I was in this mental state hospital. I didn't talk in these group therapy things. This is another reason. It reminds me of these people from these mental institutions I used to be in. And there's one psychiatrist I had. He said, well, okay, if you're not going to talk in the groups, I'm going to have, basically, you can't talk outside of the groups. So everybody is supposed to just ignore you. So it got me so mad, I literally flipped out so quickly when you couldn't, you talk to somebody and they just ignore you. And this is just like a flashback from being in a fucking mental state hospital with these idiots. I mean, this was at, because I don't care what people know about me. Unlike other idiots, this was at Horsham Clinic in Horsham. Yes, it is Horsham Clinic. Yeah, no brainer, right? It's actually not technically Horsham, though, where it's located, but it's nearby. But yeah, I flipped out when I couldn't talk to anybody because nobody was allowed to talk to me. I was on a talking restriction. So after that, that's why I have such a big mouth anymore. And that was like 30 years ago. 20 years ago. 20-some years ago. So anyway, you got the same thing going on with these people who act like children, who act like Greg Debris, or like I'm on a talking restriction. Don't talk to Walter because, you can't trust them. Okay, you're the one that are the single mothers, the assholes, the people who are fucking up. We're making a product, a big fucking product that was just basically like Windows 10. It was just a revamp of what was already out there. And they fucked it up twice. So, whose fault is that? Well, apparently it's my fault. It's not their fault. They can't take blame for any fucking thing. So I'm so sick and tired of that shit. And these girls that walk around like they got their head up their ass, and all they're doing is trying to look for the next minority to get them pregnant so they can get, have more kids that they don't want to take care of and they give to somebody else to unload their burdens on. It gets so fucking old, folks. Anyway, I'm just trying to get this stuff in. That's why I'm talking quicker than I quit. at a faster pace than I normally do, just because I got to get this stuff in so I can get washed up for work. Anyway, on a lighter note, anybody who has memorable entertainment, me TV I like to call it, because that's what they call it. It says a new unofficial Star Trek movie premiere is this weekend. Yes, it is coming up this weekend. Unfortunately, it's out in California. But I'm sure Memorable Entertainment or MeTV must have a bid on that movie. That it's got Walter Cohen, not Walter Interante, but Walter Cohen. The one who liked nuclear vessels. He couldn't say words right. He always fucked them up because he had this really bad accent. A black gentleman who was on the original Star Trek as a Vulcan. I do recognize him. I just never watched anything past the original Star Trek. But they're doing a movie of what happened. Walter Cohen's supposed to be 150 years old. Kind of a joke almost. He's not that old. He looks it almost. So anyway, Star Trek fans, Trekkies, there's that out there. Looking through my things really quick, there was something really funny, and it's something titled Self-Rapist, Masturbation Warning, Dear Abby. That's on that stopmasturbation.org website that was on there. Oh, I just found this out last night. The walkinstalkers.com is going to be right down the road from where I live in Oaks, Pennsylvania. I mean, it's literally a hop, skip, and jump away. They're having the people from The Walking Dead. They're having the convention over around my house, which is wow, that's pretty crazy. The problem is the tickets are hundreds of dollars for these people. If you want the grandiose thing, you're going to spend probably over $1,000 or $2,000. Excuse me, for a 3-day convention. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I had some other thing. It's in New York. This is a different article on the Huffington Post. New York prisoner workers sent nude photos to one of the men in this that she helped escape. Investigators are saying now. This was in New York. She's a really fugly looking lady too. So that probably the only way she could get a man is by seducing the men that were in prison. It had no hell's chance of getting parole or getting out of fucking jail. So, yeah, she was getting, apparently I read the article, she was giving one of the guys a blowjob, so, really nice lady, and the only way, I love this, though, well, she's just fugly, though, but any fucking woman won't take a normal guy or anyone who's halfway normal. I mean, I'm borderline mental crazy. I should be getting women flocking to the door. So, and I live at home with my parents. That's even better yet. They love the most dysfunctional men in the world, but for some reason they seem to wise up every time they see me. I think I just got, what do you call it? Somebody put a hex on me to make sure that I'll never have a woman. I swear to fucking God. That's the only thing it can be. So, I'm opening up all these fucking screens and stuff I don't even need. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Yeah, I was funny. I spend more money. What a shock. Whoa. I got this Holliston t-shirt. I've always wanted one. I like that show. I don't love it, but I really like the show because I saw Adam Green, and after that I was like, dude, I love your show too. Well, I just said I didn't love it. Now I say I'm loving it. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, Holliston t-shirts were on sale. I have it on my Facebook page if you want to know the link, because I'm not going to tell you right now. Alrighty, I'll look, but I'm not going to be able. I'm not going to guarantee anything. Okay, Aries Scope's website, Ariscope Pictures. You will find the t-shirts on there. Ariscope is basically his own movie company that Adam Green came up with. You'll find them on there. So there you go. I said I was going to do it, and I did it anyway. There was a reason I wanted to do the show. This is a reason I wanted to do the show last night, because I was loading Windows 10 onto a tablet PC. It's actually the Surface. That's the real deal. It's not one made by somebody else. It's actually made by Microsoft, like the Xbox. Now, the Xbox I really like. The Surface is all right. It's not great. I still like my Apple products, and it was like, thank you for giving out Windows 10 for free, because I saw it and I still feel like I was being ripped off. I'll tell you in a minute, because another story was, I just pulled these up today, the Married with Children reboot wants to bring back these classic characters. It's all the original characters. They want to bring them back. for they want to do a reboot of Married with Children. God, a lot of these people aged. Like the woman who played the wife in Married with Children, she actually looked really good. I saw her on that show Ghost Whisperer. It was like, wow, she looks really good because she never looked that good on the show. What do you call it? Who played the daughter? What was her name? I can't remember. She was in Anchorman and Anchorman 2. She has some like physical problems, and she didn't age that well. So I just can't imagine how she's going to look now because she was really hot back in a day. I can't remember her name. You know what I mean, the blonde hair girl, the daughter. Anyway, enough of that story. I want to go back to Windows and take my shower, brush my teeth, and shave before work. Can't go to work with a t-shirt, a pair of underwear on. That will definitely get me fired, which I wouldn't mind, but I don't want to get fired right away because I won't get paid either. I'll get put in jail or something. Anyway, I work in Lansdale, and there was an article, had to put it up. Lansdale man charged an alleged borough hit-and-run incident. The 23-year-old Lansdale man was the center of the 2011 borough robbery cases and has been charged with more than a half a dozen criminal counts. So what does that mean? He's probably illegal, I guess. I don't know. But it's just amazing. And I'm sure, I would guarantee you that these women are flocking up at his door like, oh, this man's really hot. He's a low-life piece of dirt shit, but we love him. So, but me, no, not the case. They wise up every time they see me, though. I don't know why. What is it about me that women wise up when they know iWalter's around? By the way, it was funny. I actually downloaded for the month for free. I don't know if I'm going to keep it again. Sirius XM, and I'm like listening to Stern. I know people who listen to Stern, they're kind of getting tired of him. It was like, I haven't heard him in almost 20 some years. Again, that 20-something's coming up. And it was like, I gave up on him because he just got so boring after a while. I was like, but he sounds like his old self. But you know the reason why he sounds much better to me than he did when I stopped listening to him is because he's only on like 2-3 days a week, if that. So, because he's ready to retire. It's like the man is like, he could do a couple more years, but he's just tired of doing radio altogether. He's got other things. I don't know if I mentioned, I'm talking about Howard Stern, by the way. And it was like, the man is just like, give it up, I guess. I don't know, because he's doing all these other projects. He's got more money than he probably really needs at this point. He's really well off. But when he's on there, it's really good. But it's like, I listened to him the other day, and I'm hearing the same show that I heard today that I heard the other day, and the day before that. It was like, God, this is the free month. No wonder why people get pissed off. Now, I can use, which it sounds incredible. It sounds really, really good. I can just listen on my Apple iPhone, which my car has Bluetooth, so I can listen to my car on the radio speakers. And you know what? It sounded better than it did on the satellite radio I had built into one of my cars I had. I had a Volkswagen Jetta, and now I have a Tiguan. So the Tiguan does not have the Bluetooth, the one I have. My Jetta did, and it was like, okay. But I can still listen to the show, and it sounds better. I'm not buying their equipment. I'm not renting their equipment. I'm not buying it. So the only drawback is it costs you at least $15 a month to play it on any peripheral, like a laptop, an iPhone, an iPad. And basically, the problem is I'm using my internet, though, so I'm using my bandwidth to listen to the show, which sounds really good because I got Verizon, Fios, and Verizon Wireless. But the problem is I'm listening to the same show over and over again. It's like I bought like a 2-year contract for Rush Limbaugh. It cost me like $50-$60. But it's well worth it because he's on 5 days a week. He gives you 5 days worth of, of entertainment. And if you listen to it after his show goes off, you listen to the podcast, which are basically the shows for the day without all the commercials, you get like an hour and a half every day. That's not that bad. And I was complaining about that. I was like, wow, what was I complaining about? Because Howard Stern's only on like 2-3 days a week if you're lucky, and then the rest is all reruns and repeats 24/7. So it's just ridiculous. It's boring. So I might have to remind myself to give that one up. I'm stepping away from the speaker. I apologize because I really got to get ready. It's after 2 o'clock right now, and that's the correct time, my time. Going back to Windows, I downloaded it. It'd take me a couple hours to download it on the. I got an i5 Surface, with the i5. I mean i5 as in Intel Core chip processor for mobile processor that is an i5. So basically, what is that? That's basically a dual core that acts like a quad core because it uses hyper-threaded. That's what an i5 does. So the thing's pretty damn fast. I souped it up as much as I could on the machine that really can't be touched because it's, equivalent to an iPad. But it runs the full OS because I have a regular processor. I don't have some Integra NVIDIA chip, which they're not bad, but you can't run a regular OS. You have to run that other version of Windows. So I was able to get the free Windows 10 upgrade this morning when I got home. Had taken a couple hours. I looked at it and was like, yeah, this looks pretty good. They did put the desktop startup bar back, but it's completely different. They basically combined it with what they were really pushing, which was the startup on the new window when Windows 8 came out and Windows 8.1, which was nothing wrong with it. It just was completely different. Everything was focused on, if you wanted to run anything, you had to run it off that screen that looks equivalent to what's on your Xbox with those those pictured menus, whatever. Well, they kind of shrunk it down into a start bar now. It's still there. It says shrunk down. And I'm like looking at it. I was literally amused for about 10 minutes to a half an hour. And after that, I was like, okay, this is no different than Windows 8.1. It just looks different. They put new bells and whistles in there, which look kind of cute, but it doesn't make the operating system. It does run faster. Don't get me wrong. Was it worth my download? Well, to look at it, yeah, because now within a half an hour, I got out of my system. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to give up my Apple products because Windows 10 is out. And that's a whole marketing scheme. They said, oh, this is the 10th operating system out. Well, if you go by the number line, yeah, it probably is the 10th operating system because they didn't name the other ones. But technically, why didn't they call it Windows 9? Because it was Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and then it was like Windows 10. What happened to 9? There is no 9. So 8.1 was the closest you're going to get to 9 as if you ever was one. 8.1 is 9. According to them, I guess. I don't know what else to say. So they played a number game. They add some bells and whistles. Now, one thing that was kind of sweet and kind of cute is they put a search bar, basically a search engine for both the internet and your desktop on the start bar. So when you hit the start bar, not only you get like a start bar, which has the same thing as Windows 8.1 had, which is that screen of icons, but placed on a start bar. That wasn't that far of a stretch from what they had. But you also have a search engine for both the internet and also for your desktop. And that was kind of cool. But you know what? I'm looking at it now. I got an hourglass that does the same fucking thing on my Apple. My OS X Yosemite. So, and I like Apple because everything just seems to still fucking work somehow. I don't know why, because Jobs been out of the picture. He had nothing to do with the design, making the stuff. He had the ideas. I don't think he had any know-how on how to make an OS. And I have a friend, I'm running Yosemite version 10.10.4. That's fine. And you know what? I was complaining in the past that Apple never really changed the look of their desktop since Windows 10, which it did make major transitions over the years, but all of them look pretty much similar. It was everything underneath the hood, but I'm at a point, it doesn't need new bells and whistles. You don't need to put pretty pictures on my desktop. I just wanted to fucking run and do what I wanted to do, what it's doing right now for me. So I don't need anything else. Anyway, Windows 10, I would have to give it a lukewarm welcome. It was nothing that spectacular. If you have a desktop that's running Windows 8.1, I would recommend, while it's still free, because I think it's only free for about a month, Otherwise, they're gonna start doing that shit where they charge you bottom price for the cheapest one's $200, and it goes up from there probably. And I got actually a copy of the 64-bit OS. Well, I actually just upgraded it, so I'll have to buy it if I ever have a problem, which I'm not going to be running Windows anytime in the near future. But I got actually Windows 10 64-bit OS professional version for free. So I was really happy. Everyone, have a good day. I really got to get ready for work. I'm not gonna make it at this point. I'm signing off for now.